about Tunisian crochet. Hi friends, it's Amanda and this is AceKreates and welcome back. Today's video is themed Beginner Tries Tunisian Crochet. So for those of you who do not know what Tunisian crochet, it is a form of crochet that is a mix between crochet and knit. And so the fabric that you get looks a little bit more like knit. And for me personally, it's something that I enjoy. I love the look of knitted fabrics, so like sweaters and tank tops. I just don't know how to knit yet, but I'm working on that. But I wanted to give Tunisian crochet a shot. I do love that look of a knitted garment, but you don't have to knit. You can just crochet. And so what it does, much like knitting, is you're constantly pulling up loops on your hook, and you're going to continue to pull up loops on your hook like you do with knitting. You're keeping loops on your hook, and then you return pass until you get one loop left on your hook. And it took me a little bit to get it, but once I got it, I was good. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about my experience doing Tunisian crochet for the first time. So to get started with Tunisian crochet, what you will need is Tunisian crochet hooks. And here I have what I got for my Tunisian crochet projects. I have the Knitter's Pride Dreams Tunisian crochet hooks. And it comes with 8 hooks that range in size from 3.5 millimeters all the way up to 8. So I get 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, and an 8. So the only size they don't really have in there is a 7. This 8 hook set came with all 8 hooks, as well as end caps and cords of varying lengths, as well as the keys that you need to tighten your interchangeable cords to the end of your hook. So that's the kind of the reason why I decided to go with this set versus some of the other Tunisian crochet hook options, is because I knew at some point I did want to do knitting, and so I wanted to be able to use the same cord sets. And that's actually, I just got a knitting set, and I made sure that I got the Knitter's Pride versions because I wanted to not have to buy new hooks other than what this set came with. And so that's kind of why I decided to go with these Tunisian crochet hooks. There's a bunch of other options. I'll link these hooks in the description below. There's a couple other options like the Denise interchangeable hooks, some more high-end options. I just knew that right now I didn't want to spend too much on the hooks. I wanted to get used to the craft of and doing Tunisian crochet before I invested too much. And these honestly have worked out really well, so I might do maybe a review video on these in the future. I want to probably get 1 or 2 more projects under my belt. They are like wooden, and so I do want to get a couple more projects before I review it, but perhaps in the future I'll do a review video on these hooks. So there are a ton of Tunisian crochet resources on the internet, and I'm going to talk about several of them, but I'm going to link a bunch below so that if you're like me as a beginner trying to figure out Tunisian crochet for the first time, definitely check out these resources. And my favorite resource, because I believe she is the queen of Tunisian crochet, is Toni Lipsey of TL Yarn Crafts. So she designs so many patterns for Tunisian crochet. She's also got so many tutorials. She's even got a book called the Tunisian Crochet Handbook. And so this is a really great resource when you're getting started on Tunisian crochet. And what's awesome about it is there are several patterns in here, and it walks you through like basic stitches and some other special stitches that you might use while you're kind of in that beginning journey. And so I would definitely check this book out. If you don't have it, I will put a link to it below. Definitely, it's worth the investment. My copy's really special to me because I got her to sign it when I went to our Maker's Life last summer. So that's really special to me. So definitely check out this resource, the Tunisian Crochet Handbook. So that's my #1 resource. She also has a lot of tutorials online on YouTube. She's got a whole library of whether it's just how to do a specific stitch or kind of like top 5 Tunisian crochet stitches you should learn as a beginner, that kind of a thing. So I would definitely check out some of those resources that she offers, and then some of the patterns that she offers. Like the pattern that I'm going to show you, even this pattern, it's like 2 stitches, and so that you have to learn, and then it's kind of on repeat. And so that's what I really am looking for as a beginner. I'm looking for something that's like easily accessible for me to pick up and learn, and kind of go through the pattern and understand. So I actually took a class with her through Webs sometime last year on beginning Tunisian crochet. So that's actually one of the resources that I did upon myself. That class is not available right now, but she does offer classes from time to time with various local yarn stores or kind of other makers or other vendors, that kind of a thing. So keep an eye out, follow her. Definitely worth following if you don't follow her already. So I have now made 2 complete patterns with Tunisian crochet. And so this is the first one. I showed you guys in my I'm Back video this Westmont shawl from Tony Lipsy. And I used the Malabrigo Lotus in sock. I used 2 skeins of sock weight yarn. And this beautiful pattern, and the colors just really, really, really pop. So I started this project last April, and I got through probably about this first kind of triangle section, and I put it down completely for a year. When I decided to pick it up again this April, I really ripped out everything that I had, because I knew that as a beginner, I didn't want to just walk through my mistakes and just be okay with it. And especially some of these stitches, like you can tell when you make a mistake. And that's honestly one of my biggest tips, is to continue to count. Like, don't think that you did it right the row below just because it might look good. Just count your stitches, especially when you're doing something like this, where say you have to count this stitch and then down to here. Just count your stitches, because I probably ripped out, I don't know, gosh, 30 or 40 rows at some point throughout this. You know, just, I ripped out 5 rows, and then I ripped out 10 rows or something. There was one point where I'm pretty sure I went back like 15 rows. I just decided from that point on that I would just continue to count every half, since this was a shawl that was done with kind of center stitch, that I would count up to the center stitch, ensure that I had the right increase, and then I would count from center stitch to the end and ensure that it matched that first half. And so this pattern had the knit stitch and the simple stitch. So that is the simple stitch. And then this is a yarn over with the knit stitch. And it creates this really great drapey lace in the shawl. And I absolutely love Tunisian crochet. It is, to me, it's, I honestly think it's a little faster than regular crochet for me. you know, some of the stitches, like as I was learning them, they took a little bit more time to make sure I was getting into the right kind of bar area or in between the kind of the right gap and pulling up correctly. But kind of once I got into a groove, especially on this shawl, probably the second half of it, it was really, really, really easy and mindless. It's still not something I can do while like watching TV or anything. Unfortunately, I found that just crochet for me, if I'm watching TV, it can't be anything of like that I need to pay attention to. I can have a true crime documentary on in the background, or actually I've been doing a lot of reading through audiobooks with my Libby app through the LA library, and so I've been doing a lot of listening to books, and so that's kind of what I do when I'm crocheting. And so yeah, this was my first project, and kind of here were my thoughts on Tunisian crochet. I loved it. I would definitely going to continue Tunisian crochet. I like it for kind of accessories and the things that I wear all the time. So this is actually my second project. I haven't blocked it yet. So this was the Westmont shawl from Tony Lipsy. And I will put in kind of overshots and videos of all this so that way you guys can see kind of the stitches up close and everything. So here's a close-up of my first Tunisian crochet shawl. Beautiful simple stitch. You can see a couple places where I didn't I messed up, but those didn't matter to me as much because it still kept the pattern going. It's still curling a little bit, so I might have to reblock. To be fair, I didn't really block. I just kind of got it wet and then let it hang dry. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. So this was my second Tunisian crochet project. I had some yarn that I had wound up for a different project, and I just decided that I was like, why not just go and make another shawl? But I knew I wanted to do kind of a different stitch pattern and everything. So this is actually the Loveland Light. It's not as long as it's supposed to be because I kind of ran out of yarn. I used Berry Cash from Woolberry Fiber, and their cashmere is 400 yards a skein, and I think that the pattern called for one 400 but one like 460 some odd yards, and I just didn't do that. I also had some trouble. So this one, as you can see, so this is the Tunisian knit stitch, which is like what we did up in the previous shawl, but there was no yarn over to help create that lace. So what's really nice, this looks like stockinette in knitting. And so every time I was making this and I would bring it to stitch night, everybody thought I was knitting, but I was like, no, it's Tunisian crochet. Then the lacy part I think is knit stitch again, but you know, using yarn overs and all that to help make the pattern more lacy. It was actually supposed to end with a Tunisian purl stitch, and I tried and I tried and I tried and I tried so hard to get the Tunisian purl stitch, and it just was not working for me. I don't know if it was just the yarn weight or it just wasn't comfortable, and I just learned knitting purls, but I couldn't do it. And so I just decided to say, screw it, and I would just continue with the lace pattern. So it's actually supposed to have kind of purl stitches at the end here, but unfortunately I did not do that. But I still love it. It looks good. I just have to put this on the blocking mat. So tell me, have you guys tried Tunisian crochet? What are your thoughts? What are some patterns you think I should try out? I'm actually working on a third Tunisian crochet project. Again, Tony Lipsy. I have a lot of her patterns. So I'm working on her adventurous scarf. My cat just literally climbed up the closet, scaled the closet, and is in the closet, like the top of the closet. That was not easy. This is Grizzly. This is the cat that just decided to scale our closet. Yeah, he's a little brat. So the next project that I'm actually working on with Tunisian Crochet is the adventurous scarf, and it's on the bias. It's the simple stitch with a couple of full stitches thrown throughout the pattern, but for the most part it's the simple stitch on the bias, which is really, really easy. And I'm just trying to use I'm making this for a family member, so their favorite colors are green and yellow, and so, well, at least that's what they told me. So I'm making that scarf with some minis that I had, along with a corresponding full skein. So definitely in a future video I will have more progress along so that you can see this. So definitely keep an eye out for more Tunisian crochet from me. I'm going to do a review on those hooks in the future once I have 1 or 2 more projects under my belt, because they're a good kind of entry-level Tunisian crochet without being too cheap. You know, I could have gone for some of the other cords or some of the other stuff that has cords attached already. I just knew that I wanted the option to do my own cords, or to remove cords if I wanted to like pause a project, then it didn't tie up my hook for forever. So definitely keep an eye out for me. Tell me what you're working on in Tunisian crochet and what you think I could work on in the future. I definitely want to do a sweater. I know I said that last time. I definitely want to do a sweater. I just don't know if I have enough of one color at the moment. And so that might have to wait until I use some of my yarn stash. Otherwise I might have to just find some like corresponding yarn that maybe perhaps makes a good fade, or an intentionally striped one. So if you know of a Tunisian crochet sweater pattern, I have 2 that I like, but if you have any recommendations, definitely put them in the comments below. The baby's now waking up, so I don't know how much more video time I have. I will link all the resources as well as the tools that I use throughout today's video. If you like my channel and my videos, please be sure to like and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you'll be alerted when I go live in the future. As I said in my last video, I'm not quite sure what my video schedule will be. I knew I have some plans in the future, so I'm aiming for at least 2 a month, if not more. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye, friends.